Today is the 3rd of November, 2025. The number of the day is 29 because petrol, Aakash, went up overnight at midnight last night. Overnight,
yes.
By 29 cents per litre, which is a mystery. It's a big mystery because we have been talking about oil prices going down. We import Brent crude and the rand getting stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. The rand sitting at what, just over 17 to the dollar, oil hovering around $63 a barrel. And historically, whenever oil as well as the rand strengthened and oil prices were lower, we got a cut in the petrol and diesel prices.
Yeah.
This time it's different, and it's different because unfortunately in South Africa, we don't refine as much crude oil as we previously did. We import a lot of finished product. And the dilemma we sit with is that finished product, diesel and petrol, has gone up internationally. So we are now paying a lot more for petrol and diesel than we would have had we been refining ourselves.
And this whole issue of refining, remember the huge security risks that were raised when we were selling off our oil reserves.
Which we sold at a massive loss,
yeah,
but anyway.
That was a huge scandal. But if you don't have reserves on hand, you at least want to be able to refine, because as I understand, the raw product is available. If we could refine, there would be no issue here.
Well, certainly, if we reached a position for whatever reason where we were not able to bring in finished product, i.e. finished petrol and diesel, the South African economy would be in very serious problems because based on the capacity that we have to refine crude oil right now, we simply do not have enough capacity to meet demand. And that's a problem for our country.
And that capacity has been cut in half. So Bloomberg reported in May that about half of South Africa's oil refining capacity is shut. The big one is SAPREF. That was sold off to the Central Energy Fund. It was owned by private players. That was churning out 180,000 barrels a day. So we just don't have the capacity that we once had.
Yeah, well, there were two oil production, crude oil refineries in Durban that shut down. And we've never been able to get them back on stream again. Then in Mossel Bay, we had a gas to liquids production, which again, it shut down. And as a country, we just haven't done enough to make sure that we got these back online.
I was scratching my head, in fact, Aakash, because Transnet, the issue was a monopoly. So nobody else could access the rail lines until now. Eskom, the issue was a monopoly. But private players could step in. But they've actually stepped out. So a lot of the reporting is around underinvestment, accidents happening. But you wonder why there's not enough investment in refineries in South Africa. And I found a wonderful little tidbit about Nigeria. So Nigeria used to import more refined fuel than we did. And remember, it's even worse for them because they make the fuel. So they take it out the ground, have to send it to Europe. This was the case. It was refined in Europe or Asia or wherever, and then they had to import the refined product. But now they're okay because Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, invested in a mega refinery. So we are now the ones who have this massive shortfall.
Well, part of the problem is that we have laws in South Africa that, in fact, prevent oil companies from doing what they want to. I mean, take fracking as an example. I mean, we could unlock billions of rands if we were able to frack in South Africa, the Northern Cape in particular. But you have environmental groups that go to court. You get delayed in terms of environmental impact studies, etc. And as a result, a lot of these big projects which take years to come online simply get stopped. And as a result, we just don't have capacity. And the problem is it sounds very good that we want to protect the earth. It sounds fantastic. And indeed, it's very noble. The problem is when one day we don't have fuel to fill our cars and we don't have fuel to get this economy going.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if we can go make it a free fall, right, in terms of the environment.
But Francis, you do travel by car. You don't ride to work, do you?
That's true. That's true. And we should all be on our bicycles.
Except in South Africa, that's very difficult because you then become exposed to crime, which becomes a problem as well. So you want to sit in a car, you want to have your windows all closed, otherwise you're putting yourself in danger. And then the bottom line is you have all of these opportunities off the South African coastline. I mean, you look at what's happening in Angola, you look at what's happening in Namibia, where there's these massive fields that these countries are tapping into. And in South Africa, we're simply not doing so. But how do we pay for it? We pay for it at the pumps. And as you pointed out right at the beginning, you got petrol going up by 29 cents. You got diesel going up by between 65 and 82 cents a litre.
And petrol is what most of us use, but diesel affects the big trucks that are carrying the freight, that are carrying the goods. So we may feel that in our pocket when the retailers pass on the diesel prices.
Correct. And then the problem with that is it's inflationary. So it pushes up prices generally. Inflation goes up. And then our friends at the Reserve Bank on the Monetary Policy Committee decide to hit us with even higher interest rates to bring things down.
Okay, so look, there's not a crisis here because 21 Rand 41 cents is the current price for 95 unleaded, and it's lower than we started the year at. So not a crisis yet. But this number 29 certainly, as we've been discussing, raises issues about South Africa's fuel security, which has been in the spotlight before, and many saying we need more refineries. Maybe we need one big mega refinery, the likes of Dangote, what he built in Nigeria. So that is one number raising a myriad of questions.